Hey family, Sunday check-in. We got Rowdy Dad
Rowdy Mama.
and
Rowdy sister.
all right. So I think we said that we were going to talk a little bit about what happened in December. Oh, we got Rowdy Pooch, Chew, checking in. So I think we were going to talk a little bit about what happened in December, and Rosa remembers a little bit of that. So you were at school. It was a rainy day, and what happened?
So, it was like he said, it was a rainy day, and I was in a extended day playing with my friends and doing some other things when I think my teacher or Miss Pacey came in and called me to the office, and then that's when.
But you'd already been evacuated a couple of times,
Oh
right?
yeah, with the fire alarms.
When the fire alarm went off, y'all were evacuated
How was
Yeah,
that?
in the rain.
that was when I was in coding that day. I was in coding class doing some other things, like my things I was supposed to be doing, and then that's when the fire alarm got pulled, and then we went outside in the rain, and it was raining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was raining.
And then that afternoon, you were told to go to the office, and so they could take you outside.
Mhm.
And what happened out there?
I got into the car, and Nicholas was in the front seat, kicking and stuff, and Mommy was trying to hold him down on the chair, and then there were cops. The cop was coming, and then there was some other teachers out there, and then they left with Nicholas, and it was just me, Pablo, and Mom.
Hi, Heather.
So yeah, so
So I guess if we can kind of rewind back from that, but Rosa did explain about what happened with the fire alarm aspect. I got a call from the intermediate principal. Got a call from him about maybe, I want to say about 1 o'clock, probably closer to 2 actually. I got a call from him stating that there was like this dire emergency that I needed to absolutely get to the school right then, right there. So in the process of him calling, we were at my job, we were in the process of switching over to like our end of the day jobs and starting dismissal. So I'm like, okay, let me run, let me talk to the team, let me try to get out of here so I can beat the after school traffic and all of these things. So as I'm frantically trying to get away from my job to get to the school, like nothing is making sense to me. I'm just being told that I need to run now. So I get to the school, and when I get to the school, Nicholas is sitting in the principal's office along with an officer and his rapport teacher. And Nicholas is like, he's in tears, and he just keep saying like the same thing over and over, that, you know, like he was afraid, and it was just so many things, and he was just saying over and over and over, and saying that like he didn't feel protected and things of that nature. So as his rapport teacher is also sitting in the classroom, she's looking me right in my face, and she's telling me like, he's not the same kid that he was before, and, you know, just going down that road with me. And I'm like, yeah, he's not. Like, I've been trying to explain this to you guys. So as we went through all the motions as to why he was there and what was going on and what the next step was going to look like, he got calmed down enough. And the principal thought that it would be a good idea to sit him out in the hallway while we had a conversation just amongst us adults.
Nicholas eloped.
Yes, he eloped, which he has a history of doing. He hasn't done it in a while, but he has a history of it. So I guess now there's a new rule now that you aren't allowed to like go after a student now. So it's wet, it's raining, I got on a pair of Crocs, and I am in full sprint in behind my child, going after him down the intermediate hallway. We get outside. I wasn't ready for that. Nicholas is pretty long-winded, and apparently this has happened before, and the principal comes out like the side door where the cafeteria is and cuts us off. So as I'm coming up one way, so now it's like the principal's here and Nicholas is coming, so now he's essentially blocked in, so we're getting him back into the building. Now he is really upset now, and I'm just trying to like explain to them, okay, like let me talk to him, let's calm down. The officer is still there. It was just a mess. And
so he was in full on rage.
Yeah, he was definitely on full on rage at this point. I tried to just explain that. So now I'm in the room. The report teacher, she now stepped away because she had to go do some duty or something. And it's just the principal, the officer, Nicholas, and I. And the principal's going in that, how Nicholas, he knew exactly what he was doing, and what he did, it's punishable, and we have to do this, and we have to do this, and blah, 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 blah. So after us catching him, he's already upset about that. And now the principal is like just telling him, you did this, you bad boy, you bad boy, you. And yeah, it was a mess. And by then, the officer.
So he was released to you.
He was released.
You were given a ticket.
Given a ticket. He was released. So he was fine. No, he didn't even have a ticket at that point. He calmed down. The officer, which was an officer that was, I don't know, I guess I would say a friendly officer. He was aware because he worked in the school, so he was kind of aware of Nicholas's mannerisms. So like none of that really, stood off as him being any type of way towards Nicholas or Nicholas being any type of way towards him. So by then, as the officer and I are talking, we are, trying to get him, to this point. And then after the officer and I gets him calm, then the principal starts back in, and then it becomes a whole thing where now I had to restrain Nicholas. So I did. I put him in a hold, and we had to get him out to the car. And so by then my car was parked on the back side of the school, close to where the buses were, and he was in a hold. The officer helped me get him out.
Now you're trained in holds.
Yeah, and I'm trained. I've worked in special education since before Nicholas was even born. So I'm trained in holds. So he was in a therapeutic hold. And once he got in a car, he was all right. And it was time for us then. So in that process of me getting him into the car, the officer helping me get into the car, the principal was there watching. He calls over to the elementary school to kind of give them a quick update what was going on. If I pull up, could they just bring the twins out to the car? And as we're waiting for the twins to come out, it just kind of picks up again. He was calm, and the next thing I know, he is trying to get out of the car. He's trying to jump out of the car, trying to take off his seatbelt, and just all kind of things. And one of the teachers came out to help, put the twins in the car, and just everything happened so quick. The next thing I know, the twins are in fact going back into the building with one of the teachers that were overextended days. So they're back into the building with them. I'm now having to trail in behind the police car as Nicholas is being sent downtown. And by then, you're kind of like, you popped up in the picture by then.
Yeah, she came by and picked me up, and we went down to downtown to pick up Nicholas. He had been calm, and then he raged again while we were there, and that's how he ended up at St. Francis again that night. So, but that is right about the time that we started the Matthews Protocol. So we're like, okay, something's got to give. There's something that's got to be going on here with Nicholas. And it's about that time that we had learned about his DMDD. So Nicholas was diagnosed with DMDD in the summer of 2021, according to the paperwork that we have. However, we were never told about it, and it was only after one of his hospital stays that we happened to read it, and then started doing the research, and that's how we came up with our friend telling us about the Matthews Protocol and us finding the Matthews Protocol. So some things happened today. I mean, we can talk about this weekend. We can talk about how the Matthews Protocol has made changes. So whereas before Nicholas would have raged a lot more. Tell us about, like, yesterday, some things that you noticed.
Okay, well, Friday marked 13 weeks of our child that we always knew was there. 13 weeks of no hospital stays, no aggression, no rages, none of the stuff that can be fueled during a DMDD episode. There were numerous times during the weekend that there were situations that we knew could have turned into a full-on rage, but he actually did some problem solving. Like with the kids, the game is something that they all struggle with. Like, they are all on the struggle bus express. They all want to play one game together, and with certain games, there's only so many players. Some games, 2, there's 3 of them. Some games, only 1, and they have to take turns. So, with taking turns, that can become an issue. So, the twins had started, like, arguing about something, and they were just kind of going back and forth bickering. And then I could hear Nicholas do this. And then, like, another time, like, he was over that for a second, then the twins stopped. And he kind of did, like, this, I don't know what kind of thing. It was almost kind of like a growl type thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, he is really getting frustrated. So as I'm getting up to come around the corner, I see Nicholas's door shutting. I stood outside his door for a second. I didn't burst in. I just stood there and I listened in, and I was like, okay, he sounds fine. So I slowly turned the doorknob, and he was in his bed underneath his blanket, and he was like watching a video or something. And I was like, are you okay? He was like, yeah. The twins were going to start arguing, so I just kind of came in here just to kind of get away from everything. It's like, oh, all right. Like, that is huge, because in many situations, like, some people don't understand the significance of a closed door in a home, especially when you have a child with special needs. A closed door in a house could mean a number of things. That closed door could be a room that is unsafe for that child, or just a room that could cause unnecessary issues, like a bathroom or things of that nature.
Well, I mean, a lot of times closed doors with Nicholas meant that he was in there thrashing things around. He'd slam the door. He was in there kicking and and screaming and hollering, and for it to be a calm time after Nicholas's, previous outbursts. That was a really good thing. And then today, you just have to kind of understand that Nicholas has problems with certain social cues, and he has issues making friends and having, knowing how to say hi to friends or this or that. His friends will say hi to him and he'll not look them in the eye sometimes, and just avoid them. But today, he was out riding his bike around the neighborhood, and came back and asked if he could go to one of his friends' house, and stayed for, 2.5 hours.
Yep.
And that would have never been. He would have came back in 20 minutes because somebody would have got on his nerves and made him mad,
Or he would have been fearful that, oh, no one likes me. Everyone's judging me. No one wants to play with me. I'm this kid that no one wants to be friends with. So he did. He took that. I was like, hey, just go ride your bike around the neighborhood. And he came back and was like, such and such was around there and some other boys. And I'm like, oh. And he took off around that corner so quick.
So Rosa, how chill is brother now?
Good deal.
He's pretty chill.
Like last Wednesday when I said before he came all chill, and I would ask him to help me with something, or like with the game, and he would be grouchy, but he's actually not grouchy. He'll just show me.
Oh, that's really cool. So yeah.
And I like how he's more calm. That like today that we played a game together, and we were playing Break-In Story.
Oh yeah.
And he figured out how to put it on the TVs, plus playing it on your phone.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why our TV be occupied in here.
Yeah.
They like to share their screen,
Yeah.
which I don't see the sole purpose, but...
Well, it's pretty cool.
Oh.
That they're all able to play together now and and do things that they weren't doing before. So yeah, the Matthews Protocol has been a game changer for us. We recommend it. Our friends over at rdmdd.org, they have a whole lot of information about it. If you have any questions about the Matthews Protocol, shoot those questions over to us. We've got a few answers on those. We know the dosing, what the trough levels are supposed to be. All we can do though is recommend. We're not doctors. We're not licensed physicians. We're not lawyers. We can just talk about the things that have worked for us and for a lot of people. I see a lot of people still struggling with DMDD, and I know that a lot of them haven't learned about the Matthews Protocol, or have learned about Matthews Protocol and just haven't found a doctor for it. I will tell you that it's an extreme blessing when you find a doctor that will actually prescribe the Matthews Protocol. It is an off-label, brain-based medicine protocol.
What about like the levels? Because a lot of people that have reached out, or I've just noticed them talk about how, yes, my child is now on the protocol, however, their behaviors.
Oh yeah. So yeah, when you start this, one of the symptoms for DMDD children that when you start the protocol is their behaviors, the rages start to peak even more. But what you have to understand is that their little bodies have been so infused. The body likes, this adrenaline, this cortisone, this cortisol, these major rushes that it has, that the body has been stimulated so much for the amygdala and the limbic system, and you're in this fight or flight mode, that when you're trying to counteract that, the body actually ramps up a little bit, the rage mode. And it's like it's trying to fight against the anticonvulsants. So you you start off with an anticonvulsant. We're using trilaptol, oxcarbazepine. There's a few others that you can try. We went with trilaptol because that was the most recommended one. So you start off with trilaptol at very low doses, and then you slowly increase that to pretty high doses. You want about 60 milligrams per kilogram. Dosing is at the therapeutic levels, and then you want it between 100 and 400 milligrams of amantadine, but you want to let the trilaptol get to therapeutic levels before you start adding in the amantadine, which is a frontal lobe. But yes, everything gets really really bad as you're titrating up, and then you want to get trough level blood levels when you're near the between 28 and 32, I believe it is. You want to have trough levels. So a trough level is 12 hours after you've taken your last dose. So if you take your last night dose at 8 p.m., you want to go get an 8 a.m. Blood draw. You can get an 8 a.m. blood draw so that you can check the trough levels 12 hours later. But they're being loud. So yeah, you want to get the trough levels set up. The amantadine is really helps a lot, and then after that you can come in with another stimulant for ADHD, which we haven't gotten to yet, just because we haven't seen a whole lot of the ADHD with everything that's going on with Nicholas. We do have, but the Matthews protocol has just been a game changer for us. We're advocates for it, and we do have a doctor here in Tulsa who is willing to prescribe it, and the difference with the Matthews protocol and some of the other protocols that we've been on is they didn't work. They didn't work at all. And the Matthews protocol, it's been 13 weeks, and we've had another dose increase during that time, and he's just gotten so much better, so much sweeter. The moment he stopped saying "I hate you," and he would let his real emotions come out, and he'd say, "JJ, I love you. Daddy, I love you. Mommy, I love you." He says it about a million times a day, but I'd much rather have that and love that. And he comes in, "Can I have a hug?" "Yes, so you can have a hug." "Of course you can have a hug. Get in here and give a hug." But some of the words that before we had going on were, "I hate you. I wish you were dead. I'm going to kill everybody that you ever loved." And you understand that these words coming out of his mouth are being placed there out of a a limbic system that's taken over his little brain and telling him to get away from you, get you away from him, no matter what cost. Is there discipline for some of these actions and outbursts? It's not really a discipline, no.
It's more of a lot of redirecting.
It's more a lot of a redirecting. Now, did he lose his games? Did he lose his TV? Did he lose his computer out of his? But that was more of a safety and protection for those items, because he was throwing things, he was tossing things, he was pushing things over. It wasn't a thing to, it wasn't trying to punish him. It was more to protect this stuff so that he had an opportunity to still have his nice things and still have his things after a rage, and not have them with his have them getting damaged. So now he's been able to get everything back. He has.
Ouch. Yeah, he has like a TV back.
But there's no danger of those things being damaged.
There's no danger of that. Just because, again, like in the rages, like when they first started, it was, this belongs to you or it's in my way. So it didn't necessarily mean if it belonged to anybody. It's if it's in my way, I am going to damage it. Mm-hmm. And then we would get like, the looky-loos that didn't really know what was going on, that would say, oh, if you put him in his room with his own stuff, I bet he won't tear up his own stuff. Again, when you're in that rage, yes, he actually threw his own personal Chromebook. Why? Because he was upset. So again, if we had to worry about if he was going to push a TV off of a stand, then yes, we have to worry about the safety hazards that would come with that,
And we worked with that, but we also, what we did find worked is that as we were getting closer and closer to that therapeutic level of trileptal, we found that we could use brain breaks. And we could say, hey, Nicholas, can you take a 5 or 10 minute brain break from whatever you're doing right now that's upsetting you? And he would go to his room, and that's when we started to see his mood escalate and become headed towards that dysregulation. But we were still not at a full therapeutic level, but we were getting close to that therapeutic level. And we had added amantadine by that time, and he was more accepting of the brain breaks and information there. So,
yeah. Ma'am, hey, sit down. Sit down.
So what are the things?
Yeah, I'll just say that he is a lot more understanding. He's a lot more understanding of even other people and things that are going on. They're even just like with their situations yesterday with the game. One time yesterday, he turned the game off himself. Why? Because he knew that was going to escalate into a situation that was going to be unfavorable. Either they were all going to have to get off the game for the day, and in most cases, like, we know, like, when our kids are getting tired of each other, like, we know that they're siblings and they want to play, but we can just kind of tell when they had a little too much of each other, and we will have them take like 5 minutes away from each other. So then maybe one kid on the couch, another kid in a room, another kid in another room, and just that 5 minutes, and then it's like a refresher. So now whatever was irritating me about you for that split second, now we're coming back together, and like we missed each other in that whole 5 minutes. So it's not with any of them now, when it's like you need to have a brain break, it's not a, oh my God, I'm being punished. It's a, you know what, I really do need to reset. And mental health is real. Mental health is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Like, in our home, we accept that. Like, if mommy needs to take a mental health break, she's gonna take that. If daddy needs to take one, it's not a, oh my God, are you serious? What are you doing? Because it's a conversation that we need to talk about.
And you know, it is a conversation we need to talk about, and we need to talk about the stigmas and the the different things that people say that they don't mean to say. I heard somebody today talking about somebody being in a mental health crisis, and they talked about the loony bin. That kind of language doesn't help anybody. It's not a loony bin. It's a place where people go to get help for their mental health, and it's a psychiatric hospital. It's a it's a place for people to go get the help that they need, and we need to stop using these disparaging terms to describe this, and we shouldn't be trying to make people feel bad or describing them as crazy. I know in the vernacular we use those words a lot, and it's really not fair to people with mental health issues that we keep using these disparaging terms when people are really seeking help. And here we are in 2022, and we're still using terms like the loony bin or the nut house or the crazy house, and we need to stop doing that, and we need to lift each other up. We were placed on this earth not to tear each other down, but we're supposed to be all striving to help each other get up. And we're not supposed to be pushing people back down because of something they can't control.
Yeah, we need to normalize being kind to each other. A lot of people, I don't know, it's almost kind of like a two-way street, but then again, it isn't. It's a lot of people that if you are being kind and all these good things, like, the people around us are going to know that and see that. Your children are going to know that and see that. And all it takes is just that one kind gesture. We all have our struggles, and no one has the place to tell someone how they should handle their situation with what they're given. So just because how it looks in one person's home doesn't mean it's going to look the same in your home. Maybe in your home you have people that you can send your other children to, and they can stay for days and weeks on time while you're dealing with a child that is in full-on rage. Or maybe you don't have that and your child has to go to inpatient. Or it may be a certain way you just have the setting of your home or how your house is set up. But if you're not placed in that situation, we all can't say, what if it was me? During this process of this journey, we had so many family members tell us that it was our faulty parenting. If we would have did this, or, if our son would spend a few days with them or a few hours with them, it had happened this way. And
I think Rosa had something to say.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
This
You don't have to speak into it.
this morning when I was up and moving and I was doing some other things, Nicholas came. He haven't played with us in a long time together. We haven't played together in a long time. So he came in there and I asked, do you want to play with us? And he said, yeah. He went to go grab his toys and we started playing for a while.
Yeah. That's really nice.
And like she said, that has been an issue. It has been that this is my stuff. You cannot touch this stuff. Yeah, we're still getting to the point where they all bring their own toys to the game and play, but they're playing together, and that is the overall big picture here.
Yeah.
But Yeah, we've just learned that you just have to do what you have to do for yourself, because again, what we do is not going to work for the next family, and what the next family do is not going to work for us. So we had to get past that, because just when you're going through this struggle or these kind of things with a child that has a special need, you feel like when you say you have people, and then when you really need them and then they're not there, it's kind of like, I gotta pull up my big girl panties and get stuff done. And that has been our thing. That has been our situation for months, for years. We have been going and going and going and going and going and going. And you know what? These last couple of weeks, it has been unsurreal. Like, we sit here and just look at each other like,
it's been surreal.
Surreal.
Yeah.
That word.
Yeah.
Surreal. So, yeah, I mean, it's been one of those type of situations that we were so used to basically like walking on eggshells. So we were almost always ready to say, this is going to turn ugly bad. Like,
yeah,
bags were packed type thing. Like, we were ready. We already knew like which family member we were going to have to call in case we had to drop off the twins. But just to have it now that there's no anger, there's no loud fits, there's no throwing of the stuff, like, I've got so much accomplished. Like, and it feels good to be able just to sit in your backyard doing absolutely nothing, just watching the sky, or just sitting in a random chair just scrolling through TikTok videos, because you're resting. So it's very weird to us that we can just sit down and say we're doing absolutely nothing and we're totally fine with it.
Yeah. It's been a family. It's been a game changer, but not just for Nicholas, but for the family. We've been able to, a lot of people used to follow our travels. Well, we had to, and we were famous for day trips.
Yeah.
And so, as you notice, as the years went on, we cut those out. Well, there was a reason for those, is because having, you couldn't surprise Nicholas with anything. It would cause a rage. You couldn't go anywhere. You didn't know whether he was going to have a rage at the place, or the twins were going to send him off in the car on the way there. So you just kind of shut down, and you just go home and deal with the rages at home. It's easier to deal with the rages at home. So you just kind of stop doing those things, and so we've really been able to go and do our stuff again, and go and have fun, and we were trying to go to the park today. It was, we kind of listened to Nicholas and say, okay, is this a comfortable situation for you? We try to he still has uncomfortable situations. If there's way too many people at a place, it increases his anxiety, so we take that into account. But he's able to verbalize that now, whereas before he would not be able to verbalize that. And you're just thinking you're going to the park, and he's there, and it goes off into a rage. But now he's able to say, no, there's too many people here. So the rages have cut down.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's definitely been a game changer. We have been able to like sit down and have conversations, and Nicholas has been able to tell us how he feels about certain situations, and now that we've got the rage and some of the different things down, be watching out for some of our trips and different things. Start back doing our day trips and things of that nature.
So yeah, where else can they find us at, Rosa?
YouTube and Facebook.
YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. So, go ahead.
You want to give a shout out?
Yeah.
Okay, give your shout out.
Shout out to all your Rowdy fans.
All right.
Rowdy fan. Shout out to all the Rowdy family fans.
Yeah. And we'll be taking up Wednesday.
We'll be back on Wednesday. And what are they supposed to do with our videos? Like, share, and follow?
Yeah, like, share, and follow.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
It's okay to be rowdy.